What's good, Tricky Trees? Buckle up because the transfer window at the City Ground has turned into absolute madness. And I'm about to blow your minds with 3 stories that will make you question everything you think you know about this football business. Picture this scenario, Forest faithful. What happens when your own backroom staff starts getting poached by the very clubs that are stealing your best players? What happens when the same club that just bought your Swedish wizard suddenly has their own Swedish superstar wanting out? And what if I told you there's a French goal machine sitting in Ligue 1 with Kinedni or Irregulan who could be the missing piece to your European puzzle? This isn't just transfer gossip, Red supporters. This is a full-blown chess match happening behind the scenes at Nottingham Forest. And the moves being made right now will shape your entire season ahead. Here's what I want to know from you Forest fans. Do you think losing key staff members hurts more than losing players? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this story gets wild. But first, smash that like button if you're ready for some transfer chaos, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because these stories are moving fast. The first revelation I'm about to share with you involves someone you probably never expected to be in Newcastle's crosshairs. Someone who's been pulling the strings at Forest for the past 2 years. Someone whose departure could change everything about how your club operates. But that's just the beginning. Wait until you hear about the French striker who's got Tottenham and Forest in a bidding war, and the Swedish situation that's about to get very, very interesting. Here comes the bombshell that nobody saw coming, Forest fans. Ross Wilson, your chief football officer, the man who's been the architect behind Forest's smart transfer business for the past 2 years, is reportedly heading for the exit door. And guess where he's going? That's right, straight to Newcastle United. This is absolutely mental when you think about it, Tricky Trees. The same Newcastle that just robbed you of Anthony Elanga for 55 million are now trying to steal the brains behind your entire recruitment operation. Here's the kicker that's got me absolutely fuming on your behalf. Wilson didn't even participate in the Elanga negotiations. The chief football officer, the guy whose literal job it is to handle major transfers, was nowhere to be found when your Swedish star was being sold to Newcastle. Why? Because he was probably already interviewing for their sporting director position. Think about the absolute audacity of this situation. Newcastle comes in, takes your best winger, and then immediately tries to poach the guy who found him in the first place. It's like someone stealing your girlfriend and then asking for your wingman's phone number. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Forest faithful. The Athletic reported that during the Elanga deal, it was Edu, your new global head of football, who was already exerting influence while Wilson was suspiciously absent. Reading between the lines here, it sounds like Evangelos Marinakis knew exactly what was happening and was already letting Edu take control. The timing of this is absolutely crucial. Wilson has been the mastermind behind signings like Murillo Elliot Anderson and yes, even Anthony Elanga. This is the guy who turned Forest from championship strugglers into European contenders through smart recruitment. And now Newcastle, who clearly can't build their own successful recruitment network, are trying to buy their way to success by stealing yours. What does this mean for Forest's future transfers? What happens to all those carefully built relationships with agents and clubs across Europe? These are the questions keeping me up at night. And they should be keeping you up at night too. But hold on, because while Newcastle are busy dismantling your backroom staff, there's a French striker who could be the perfect revenge signing. Now this is where Forest can hit back hard in a transfer market. Arnaud Kalimwendo, the 23-year-old French striker who absolutely terrorized Ligue 1 last season with 17 goals for Rennes. And guess what? Forest are now in a full-blown battle with Tottenham to sign him. This signing would be genius-level revenge, Tricky Trees. While Newcastle are busy stealing your staff and your players, you go out and gazump Tottenham for one of France's hottest prospects. The same Tottenham that tried to steal Morgan Gibbs-White. Can you imagine the sweet, sweet irony? But here's what makes this transfer absolutely perfect for Forest. Kalimwendo isn't just any striker. This guy scored 17 goals in a Rennes team that finished mid-table. Put him in Nuno Espirito Santo's system with the service from Gibbs White and Dan Ndoye, and you're looking at a potential 20-plus goal striker. RMC Sport is reporting that Rennies want $35 million for Kalimuendo, and honestly, that's a bargain in today's market. You just sold Elanga for $55 million. This French goal machine costs less than what you got for a winger. The numbers don't lie, Forest fans. Here's what's got me most excited about this potential signing. Kalimuendo is lightning fast. He's clinical in the box, and at 23 years old, he's entering his absolute prime. This isn't some aging veteran or unproven youngster. This is a player ready to make an immediate impact in the Premier League. But wait, there's more. The psychological warfare aspect of this transfer is incredible. Imagine Forest announcing Kalimuendo right after losing Wilson to Newcastle. It sends a message. You can steal our staff, but we'll still find world-class talent. It's the ultimate power move. And Forest fans, let me ask you this. Who would you rather have leading your line in European competition? A proven League One goal scorer who's hungry to prove himself in England, or watching from the sidelines as other clubs strengthen their squads? The clock is ticking on this one because Tottenham, RB Leipzig, and Villarreal are all circling like vultures. But if Edu can pull this off, if he can beat Spurs to this signing, it would be the perfect way to announce himself as Wilson's successor. Speaking of perfect timing, there's one more twist in this transfer saga that involves a certain Swedish striker whose world might be about to change completely. And now for the final twist that brings this whole transfer saga full circle. Alexander Isak, the Swedish sensation that Newcastle fans thought was untouchable, wants out of St. James Park. The same striker that was supposed to link up with Anthony Elanga in this dream Swedish connection is reportedly ready to abandon ship. Forest fans, do you realize what this means? Newcastle just spent $55 million on your winger specifically to create this Swedish partnership. And now their star striker wants to join Liverpool. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. David Ornstein from The Athletic dropped this absolute bombshell that Isak has decided he wants to leave Newcastle after Liverpool showed interest. This is the same player who was supposed to be the centerpiece of Newcastle's European campaign. The same player that Elanga was excited to play alongside. Think about the chaos this creates. Elanga probably joined Newcastle thinking he'd be crossing balls to one of the Premier League's best strikers. And now that striker might be gone before the season even starts. It's like buying a ticket to see your favorite band only to find out the lead singer quit the day before the concert. But here's where this gets really interesting for Forest. If Isak leaves Newcastle, suddenly they've got a massive hole in their attack. They'll be desperate for goals, which means they might come back knocking on Forest's door for more players. Chris Wood, anyone? Igor Jesus? The vultures could be circling again. This entire saga perfectly illustrates the absolute madness of modern football transfers. Newcastle thought they had it all figured out. Steal Forest's best player, steal Forest's recruitment chief, build a Swedish connection up front. But football doesn't work that way. Players have their own ambitions, their own dreams, and sometimes those dreams don't align with your master plan. Forest faithful, this is why you build a team, not just collect individual talents. This is why keeping Gibbs White was so crucial. This is why signing players like Kalimuendo, who want to be at your club, matters more than anything else. So let me ask you this, Tricky Trees, who's really winning this transfer window? Is it Newcastle, who've spent $55 million on a winger only to potentially lose their star striker? Or is it Forest, who've kept their talismans, signed a Swiss wizard, and are about to gazump Tottenham for a French goal machine? The answer is obvious to me, but I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Forest are actually better positioned for success than Newcastle right now? Are you excited about the potential Kalimuendo signing? And how do you feel about potentially losing Ross Wilson? Don't forget to smash that like button if this video opened your eyes to the absolute chaos happening behind the scenes in football. Subscribe and hit that notification bell because this transfer window is far from over. And I'll be here to break down every twist and turn. The Tricky Trees are building something special, and I can't wait to see how this all unfolds. Come on, you Reds!